427,000. It's a big number. 100,000. That's another big number. A third number for you is 12. And while 12 might not seem like a big number, I assure you it is. So why am I throwing these random numbers out at you? Well, the first number, 427,000, represents how many children are in the foster care system in the United States at any given time. 100,000 is the number of children waiting to be adopted. And 12, which seems like a small number, is the average length of stay that a child spends in a foster care placement. That is 12 months of their life. Now, these are big, frightening numbers that come to us from the Association of Children and Family. Some other interesting information is the fact that children in the foster care system are more likely to suffer from PTSD, anxiety, depression, and not to mention that girls who come from the foster care system are more likely to become teenage mothers. If the first set of numbers and data points make it scary, the additional information about mental disorders and other things that I'm not mentioning that come with it make it really frightening. So what we have is a problem in the United States in the foster care system. What we have is children who are moved into a system and then have a lot of other issues that come along afterwards. It's a big problem. It's a big, overwhelming problem. And one of the things that we do when we have a big, overwhelming problem is we shut down because we don't know how to fix it. We don't know how to tackle it, and we don't know how to make it better. I don't think we do this because we don't care about these kids and we're not concerned about them, but we just don't know what to do. Now, I'm not going to stand here and pretend that I have the solution to the problem because I don't. It's too big for somebody to just come up with and say, this is how we fix it. But what I do have is maybe a way that we can just chip away at it a little bit and help. I think one of the things that we need is more foster families. And I say foster families very specifically because when these children are removed from their biological families, in an instant, they're not just removed from their mom and dad, but from their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents, their schools, their neighborhoods. Everything this child knows in an instant is gone. They're left worried and scared. Worried about where they're going and what things are going to look like, scared about their biological mom and dad, or scared for their biological mom and dad. No matter how bad the situation is, that's their normal, so they're worried about their family. They're worried, is family even a thing that actually exists? So what we need is foster families to come alongside these children and help them. Now, of course, it starts with foster moms and foster dads. And what we need is more moms and dads to become foster moms and foster dads. To take that risk, to do the hard work, to spend time with these kids is something that we need moms and dads to step up and do. Now, there are some very good reasons not to do foster care, but there's not as many as you think. What we also need is people who are not yet moms and dads or can't have kids for some reason, willing to pick up the mantle and help these kids. Now, I don't want to make it sound like this is easy because foster care is definitely not easy. There are long days, days of fighting and arguing and walking around the house and just going, I don't understand. There are a lot of those days. There are a lot of days where you just don't think that you're making a difference or that it's ever going to get better. But there are also days where that child falls asleep on your lap, wakes up, looks into your eyes, snuggles in a little deeper, and goes back to sleep. Days where that child reacts properly when someone hurts them and doesn't yell at you just because you are there, but instead looks at you for affirmation because they believe they're actually handling it the right way this time. Days when the child can say, I'm mad at X, and not redirect that at someone or something else. Those are the days that matter. Those are the days that make it all worth it. Now again, like I said, what we need is foster families. The organization that we work with, FaithBridge, has what they call the community of care model. And what it is it basically creates an extended family for these children. So you obviously have the foster mom and the foster dad, but then what we get is foster aunts and foster uncles and foster cousins and foster grandparents. these people come alongside the family and create a new extended family. Because remember, the foster child, or the child who came into care, lost everything in an instant. They lost mom, dad, aunt, uncle, cousin, grandma, grandpa. So what they need is a new structure put into place to surround them, to encourage them, and to build them up. People who will come alongside, pick up that mantle, and love this child. The best part is, it's one of the easiest roles to fill. I've seen with my own eyes what a difference it makes when someone comes alongside a foster child and says, I'll be your uncle, I'll be your aunt, I'll be your cousin. Now, by default, we expect the immediate family and the extended family of the foster mom and dad to fill this role. However, that's not always possible and not always the case. What we need is people who are going to make a deliberate choice to love these children from hard places, as Karen Purvis says. It's not easy, but it is worth it. So how do you become a foster aunt and uncle, or what do you do in order to do that, to become an extended foster family? Well, honestly, you get to do whatever you want. Like I said, that is at least the easiest role. You go to baseball games, you come to birthday parties, you take a kid to the park, you just show up and hang out for a while. You just look at them as if they're a child. You encourage them. You just treat them like children. You open up yourself to them and see that they open up themselves to you as well. Now, this is not going to fix the foster care crisis that we have in the United States. This is not going to solve the heroin problem. This is not going to solve the meth problem. This is not going to solve poverty. But it is going to change the life of that child or those children in care with that family. It is going to set them on a different path than they were on. It is going to instill things in them that they did not necessarily know before. It's going to chip away at some of these things. It's going to slowly break down some walls that had been built. It's going to move love into their lives. Teach them what normal should be. Teach them what love should look like. Teach them what hope can be. It will not solve the entire foster care crisis in America, but it will change their lives. If we do this, then maybe these children can go to bed at night knowing that they are loved, they are cared for, they are safe, and most of all, that they're wanted.